Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Morning Ravenberg here again. This is my first and potentially my last live stream that I'm doing. This is the first time that I'm doing a live stream. So you're more than welcome to ask me any questions in this live stream, okay? For the period that I will be live. I don't know how long I'll be live, but I just thought that I'd give it a go. So go ahead, ask me any question that you would like. And it will be more audio based. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera. Yeah, so go ahead, ask me any questions you'd like, and via chat. You can do it via the live stream link on my YouTube channel. Again, I'm streaming live right now. I'll be reading chats therein, and I'll be answering questions. That's it. Okay, so yeah, let's begin. I'm already starting to receive chats. Little Ray of Pitch Black. I do like you too. Okay, I appreciate your comment that you'd like to meet me. Again, the feeling is mutual. And you're saying I love Belial very much. I was wondering if you can give me any advice on making better contact with him. Well, assuming that you've already read the articles on my, website, I've written two articles on Belial. One is the regular one, the first one. The other one is the one about winning the lottery or attempting to win the lottery with him. And I shot 3 videos. The third video that I shot, okay, the other 2 videos were relating to what I just mentioned, the articles that I mentioned. They were add-ons to the articles or extensions of the articles. And the third one that I read, that I did, was Ode to Belial. Belial is one of my favorite spirits to work with, okay? Aside from my patron, my Lord Samael, and my vice patron, my beloved vice Lord Sandalphon, Belial does come in third for me. Belial is a great spirit to work with, okay? Belial is very friendly, very flexible, and well, in terms of your question, any advice on making better contact with him? Well, honestly, there are so many things aside from the basic things that you need to do. So the basic thing as a whole is that you need to be proficient in what you're doing. Okay, you need to be proficient in spirit summoning. Once you've worked with Belial, aside from all the other things that in the article, there's not really else much to mention about Belial. Again, Belial, as long as your bond with him is strong and you've given him the appropriate amount of offerings and you really bond with him because you want to, not because you are just looking for results and so on, then yeah, Belial will he will come through for you more or less. He's done so for me countless times. And again, anything else that I have to say is already mentioned in the article, okay? You can use solar as well as mercurial correspondences for Belial. Belial is one of those unique mercurial spirits. Most mercurial spirits, specifically spirits that correspond to Gemini, are very light, okay? So light, I've already mentioned this in the videos that I did on mercurial spirits, that you can barely notice that you summoned anyone, as opposed to when you usually summon a spirit, it is a bit heavy, okay? It feels astrally and mentally heavy. It's like you've got a certain weight on your shoulders and in your hands. But with Belial, and not just Belial, to be honest, okay? Another example is C3 too. C3 is also Gemini. He's also mercurial, but you can also use solar correspondences for C3. In any case, regarding Belial, yeah, the first time that I summoned Belial, it was like that. Okay, Belial was just it's like I hadn't summoned any. It's like I had not summoned anything whatsoever, or anyone, better said. And in the periods after that, I started using. The first time I worked with him, I summoned him. I used mercurial correspondences, and after that, I used solar correspondences because I wanted more power behind my rituals. So Belial is adaptable in that regard or aspect, okay? Or he can just mix things up. He can combine things. If you want, for example, your results to manifest as quickly as possible, you can add either mercurial or solar correspondences or both. But generally speaking, solar correspondences are more for heaviness. They're more for doing things the heavy way. If you're not focusing so much on speed, in which results will manifest, but more of in the sense of severity, then yeah, Belial will definitely you'll definitely notice the difference. God knows I did. Okay, when I started using solar correspondences with Belial, I could feel the heaviness in my hands. Okay, I could feel it burn, my hands burning with astral energy. Oh, let me see. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Little Ray of Pitch Black. For Solos 9107, he says, for a beginner, where is the best place to start off being an occultist? Okay, he misspelled it. I don't know if that's deliberate. Being and occultists instead of being an occultist. In any case, Solos 9107. Yeah, this is one of the biggest problems that people have. Okay, I remember I had that issue. I The biggest problem that I had is there is so much information out there, and so much of it is misinformation. And sometimes the sources contradict themselves. So I had no idea where to begin. It was through trial and error. That's why it took a couple of years to get started for me to actually obtain results. The other problem is too that a lot of so-called prominent occultists out there, not that I'm bashing anyone, but a lot of prominent occultists out there that even if you were to reach out to them as a beginner, they can't help you. And then they'll just be silent. They won't say anything, or they'll just give you some kind of vague political driven answer or political themed answer, the same way that a politician doesn't want to answer a question. So he just dilly dallies around it. He just talks around it instead of actually addressing the matter directly. Um, but yeah, I would advise, long story short, is that aside from my article, I have an article called Magic for Beginners. And I also have a video, my longest video to date, I think, 45 minutes to 50 minutes, in which I explain everything. Okay, how it all began for me. Um, and yeah, aside from those things, you just need to know exactly which magical system you want to practice Solos 9107, and you need to take things from there. Once you know what magical practice you want to, what magical system you want to master, you need to find out whether it's good for you via divinatory readings. If you can't do it yourself, then I suggest just paying someone to do it for you, someone that you consider reputable. And after that, you can get to start practicing. There is at least one magical workbook for each magical system out there. Okay, so the challenge, last but not least, is to find the proper instructional manual to help you get on your way. And from there, you've got the basics down, and you need to simply master your craft from there via your own skills and via your own means. Oh, let's see. Any other questions? Lily of Pitch Black. I love your videos. Just finished them giving him an offering of no alcohol from me for 30 days. I've never had full even with him, but I feel a very deep connection with him. He is the only entity I've ever heard audibly. When I drop blood on his sigil, I heard a loud growl. I explained this on my website too, okay? You don't need to drop blood on your sigil, on his sigil. I don't know if it's your own blood, or if you just use, I don't know, chicken's blood, or just blood that you can get from an animal, not freshly slaughtered, but just from the store or similar, okay, after cutting up a chicken into pieces or whatever, not a live chicken, one that's already frozen and pre-packaged. Again, that's not necessary. A lot of people think that, and this is just stereotypical misdirection. Okay, they do stuff like this in movies and so on, but blood has no power has no power to it in terms of an offering. Blood is no different than you just talking to an entity and willingly or interested in getting to know him. This is just an FYI for your information. It's not necessary. It's obsolete. He appreciates. This accounts for all spirits, not just Belial. This accounts for spirit workings as a whole. The gesture is appreciated, but it's not necessary to use blood. And potentially, blood can also have some kind of a negative side effect in terms of if you're used to giving that entity blood, he might want more, because since you started giving him that, he might say, okay, since you this is the only thing that you can give me, then or you want to give me, then yeah, just give me more of it. And you don't want that. You don't want to encourage bad behavior, so to speak. Oh, let's see. Will you still continue doing readings? Yes, I will. Okay. Like I said on, I think you missed that. Like I said on the last video, when I said that I'm done, I also stated that for the rest, everything else continues. My business continues as planned. Everything, just nothing, everything remains unchanged, with the exception of me publishing new material. So I won't be publishing new material anymore. I won't be publishing anything new, anything that any other spirit that I haven't published or that I haven't done research on or published already. No, 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 I'm done with that. No new articles on my website or anything like that. But for the rest, my business continues as planned. Okay, by default for a reading, my lowest price is $100. That's for an astrological reading. If you want really detailed stuff, then it's 450 American dollars. So that's an astrological reading in depth, as well as a tarot card reading combined, and any other thing that might be of relevance. That's that's it. Let's see. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of reading specifically. For the rest, you can see my web shop for anything else. If you want me to work with a spirit on your behalf, one-time summoning, ultimate working, you can look at all of that in my web shop. Okay. Just go to my website, morinoravenberg.com, and it's the pinned post, my magical surfaces for hire. Okay, that's to answer your question. And now let's see if there's anyone else. Goddess of Earth, good to see you. The first time I summoned Belial, I thought I was having a heart attack. I think he raised my Kundalini. He was very strong. I'm used to his energy now. Yeah, that's true. This accounts for every spirit, okay? Every spirit will have a different effect. When I first summoned my Lord Samael, all hell broke loose in my living room where I held the ritual. It was like there was a thunderstorm literally inside my living room, and everything started shaking. And I wasn't scared, but I was intimidated. I mean, I felt genuine terror, the same kind of terror that you can sense when watching a really scary horror movie. It's like that, but only duplicated times 100, times 1,000 even. And yeah, in the beginning too, okay, all of it weighed heavily on me. The weight of all of my workings when I first began was so immense that sometimes I literally just felt like I went crazy. I was just flooded by neurotic and rageful thoughts every morning when I woke up, and several times during the day. But it comes easier with time, the load gets a lot easier to bear. And now, to be honest, I'm just used to everything. Even if I feel angry or I experience mood swings as a side effect of me working, it's for me, it's so common. It has become so common that I don't even pay attention to it anymore. But I do refrain from, I try to keep myself, or I try to keep it in check. I try to keep that side effect in check when being in public for obvious reasons. You don't want people to think that you've gone nuts. Oh, let me see. Bilal forwarded me to Planetary Magic as a beginner. The Olympic spirits are pretty easy to start with. Yeah, Mercurial spirits are also easy to start with. Like I stated when I addressed Little Ray of Pitch Black, Mercurial spirits are really easy to work with because they're so light. But the drawback, again, for a beginner, if you were to work with Mercurial spirits, that would be one of the easiest paths that you can choose. As far as I know, the easiest path. But that's the easiest path. But in terms of let's see, in terms of severity, you don't have to expect a lot from them. They will produce results fairly quick, but don't expect heavy-handed results for them. Results will be mundane. Results will literally be mundane, but don't expect heavy. Okay, let me see. I'm just scrolling through the comments right now to see if there's anything else. Homer Simpson says, it's good to see you again. Good to see you too, Homer Simpson. Your pseudonym makes me laugh. I'm assuming that that's your pseudonym. Yeah, it's good to be back again, so to speak. Okay, although I'm not really back. This is just a live stream. Honestly, I thought that I have never done a live stream before, so I don't know if I'll ever do a live stream after this one. But I just thought that I'd give it a go, and here I am. I don't mind chatting in real time with people. It's different from just reacting and replying to comments that people place on my channel. Let's see. Dark Soul 0666 says, what is the best way to how to develop our psychic abilities? How can you talk to spirits? Well, Dark Soul, for that, you need to go through an extensive training course of mastering astral senses. But I covered that in an article called Developing Astral Senses, Clairvoyance and Developing Astral Senses, as far as I know. Hold on for a second. I need to look that up on my website. And yeah, in the video embedded in that website, I also discuss in detail what to do and how to do it and so on. Just hold on for a second. Senses. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to find it right now on my website. I don't know exactly what I don't know what the exact, oh no, now I remember. I'm sorry. I take that back. Okay, it's not on my website. It's not on my website. It's a YouTube video, okay? I only did a video on it. Now I know. Now I remember. I did a video on it, but I didn't do an article on it. Hold on, let me look up the exact name for you there. Oh, videos. Yeah, now I remember. It's called Tatwas, Astral Traveling and Senses Development. Yeah, the title, the header again is self-explanatory. So that speaks for itself. Okay, I'm going to reply in the chat thingy. I'm going to reply in the chat bar. Okay, the live chat bar, and specific Dark Soul 0666. That's for you. Okay. If you see a YouTube link, then yeah, that is it. It ends with TKL at the end. That is the link to the video. If you want an idea, or at the very least some semblance of where you should begin and how you should train yourself in order to prepare yourself for communication with spirits. I'm going to move on. Goddess of Earth, I can only feel spirits and it bothers me that I'm not able to see or hear them. Yeah, I know what it feels. It's like you're talking to someone that's behind a wall and you can only sense what they're thinking, but they're not really reacting, despite the fact that you know that they're there, except when I'm sleeping. Is that normal? In a relative sense, yeah, that is normal. Okay. Again, every person is different. Okay. Some people are a lot more subject to spirit contact and a lot more susceptible to spirit contact or spiritual contact. And other people, they're so rooted and so superficial in the material plane that spiritual contact with them is almost near impossible. That's you do have those kind of people in the world. Okay, people that still don't believe in spirits and so on. You know, people that are so mundane that you can be more mundane. But in your case, yeah, it could be a personal issue too. Okay, it could be a personal matter. It could be that you need to either practice more or that you either need to awaken your kundalini. But in any case, there is something missing. either that, or you're by nature just someone that is either unsuited for direct spirit contact, spiritual communication, or otherwise. It could be part of your personality. And the reason that you experience it when you're sleeping, the reason that you experience it when you're sleeping is because I explained this in a video too. When you're asleep, you're more susceptible to spiritual contact because your body is basically canceled out. Your body finds itself in a dormant state. Being asleep is like a lesser version of being dead. Okay, all of your senses, all of your organs completely go downwards. Okay, everything just completely goes down. It's like your heart, instead of beating normally, your heart literally lowers itself to near death levels, skipping once or twice a beat. And this is normal during sleep, but that's the reason for why sorry, that's the reason for why it's easier for spirits to contact us then, because your astral body is a lot easier to reach for spirits. You could just say that your astral body is semi-floatish or semi-floating outside your physical body, and it's detached from the material plane. That's why it's easier for spirits to communicate with you. They can just approach you directly instead of having to go through the barrier that is your material body. For the record, spirits also don't like the material planes in general, especially celestial spirits. Okay, it's like especially celestial spirits. It's like, how should I put this? For celestial spirits, it's like they find themselves in higher planes of existences. So you can imagine the material plane being the lowest one is like the equivalent of the ghetto. If you lived in one of the nicest neighborhoods in town, you lived in the US in Beverly Hills, for example, and you all of a sudden had to go to the worst neighborhood in Detroit, would you be willing to do so unless you had a clear-cut, motivated reason? No. That's the thing with spirits, okay? That's why it's hard for them it's hard, generally speaking, for them to reach us. And they're also not willing to do so unless they can really benefit from it. You have to really give them a reason and to make it worth their time. This could be anything in the form of offerings or in the form of anything else. If they see that you're someone that they'll be able to benefit from for the rest of their, for the rest of your, at the very least, for the rest of your material life, that's still a good deal of time. That's like assuming that you live until you're 80, 85. Assuming that you live until old age, okay, they can benefit from you for 50 material years worth. And for them, that's, for any person, for any entity in the universe except for God himself, that is a lot, okay? But the rules don't apply to God. God is the Alpha and the Omega. Everything begins and ends with God. So the rules don't apply to God, obviously. But that's the reason for why. Again, the best way you can simply compare it to is literally if you live in a nice country, you live in a country that has a high living standard, and all of a sudden you have to go to the third world. Okay, you have to go to some worthless country where even indoor plumbing and electricity are difficult or already a challenge. You won't go there unless you had a specific reason to, unless that reason exceeds or overrules your desire to stay away from there. That's my point. Okay, that's the reason that especially celestial spirits, heavenly spirits like angels, that's why they're distant. With demons, it's also the same thing. It applies to all spirits. To a lesser extent, it applies to a lesser extent to pagan gods and thought forms overall. Pagan gods are thought forms, but enhanced thought forms through worship over a specific or an extended amount of time. I was wondering why I never even feel these celestials. Thanks for explaining. Yeah, well, now you know in any case. Let's see, Dinesh New. I'm assuming that it's Dinesh New Thai. Awesome to see you online. Dinesh, if that's you, Dinesh that I know, the Dinesh that I'm doing business with, then yeah, thanks for the shout out, buddy. Homer Simpson asks, how long does it take to fully develop astral sense? You mean astral senses? I'm assuming you type quickly. Well, how long does it take to fully develop astral sense? It's generally speaking, to develop astral senses, anywhere between half a year to a year at longest, and half a year at its slightest. Okay, at the least half a year. It took me on average, even with all the delays, because I picked everything up relatively quick, 8 to 9 months. So yeah, it's sooner, generally speaking. If you train yourself seriously, you train at least once a day, then yeah, it will happen sooner. You should have mastered all the exercises sooner. Basic exercises are astral sight, that's clairvoyance, astral hearing, that's clairaudience, and taste and smell are optional. I only mastered sight and hearing because I only need to see and to hear spirits. I don't need to smell them, nor do I need to taste whatever aura they bring with them or whatever sense they bring with them. That seems impractical. So for me, yeah, this was back in the day when I worked with old school Golden Dawn methods and techniques. I had everything. I had everything. The let's see. Wow, this is a real flashback. The altar. I had the hold on. What were those square things again that you were to place on the altar and in every corner? Hold on for a second. Let me just look it up. Tablets. Yeah. Holy crap. Elemental tablets. Yeah. You have elemental tablets, tablet of union. I did all of that. Okay. The whole 9 yards. I did everything. And I practice intensely. I practice once or twice a day. And these rituals, they take a good while. The lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, the hexagram, the middle pillar, opening up by the watchtower, all of that stuff combined takes at least an hour, I think, 45 minutes, an hour. So if you start at 3 p.m., you'll be done around 4-ish. That's how long it takes. And it also exhausts you. But that's when I started. And in any case, that's what I started with. You have to start somewhere. And I did see results, but just not practical results, results that are truly practical and noteworthy. I noticed brief things. The lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram combined with the hexagram cleanses you from any negativity. All of those things, okay, all of these things are just things that have produced a minor result, but nothing less, nothing else. I remember when I mastered Planetary Magic 2, I incorporated that into the lesser banishing ritual. I think the Thelemic Order, one of the Thelemic Orders, has a ritual of such a fashion, in which you can summon either the energy of a zodiac sign or a planet. And I summoned every planetary energy you can think of: Saturnian energy, solar energy, and I love solar energy the most because I could feel the energy of the sun flowing through me. But it only lasts for a couple of seconds. Let's just say 10 seconds. And like I said, it's impractical. It has no, even if you were to direct that energy towards a goal, not that I did so, but it just doesn't produce anything noteworthy, anything that's worth your time if you're seriously looking for divine results. And just minor things. Just minor things. I summoned Jupiterian energy twice on a day. Okay, using that ritual, and the result was someone giving me a $20, which is laughable, of course, by my standards. Okay, not to sound ungrateful, but it's laughable by my standards or by general standards that any occultist would set for himself. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So that's how long it takes on average, half a year to a year. Goddess of Earth asks, do you practice banishing? I've never used a circle. Do you? Yes, I have used a circle in the past. The very first ritual I held, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was also disappointed when it didn't work. I just looked up something up online, and I just added incense and a bunch of stupid things, a glass filled with alcohol on a table, and I just sprayed, I just cast a circle with salt, an actual salt circle in my apartment, and I cleansed my apartment by rubbing garlic on the walls and mopping up the floors with salt water before starting everything. This was as a means to cleanse everything. And that's when I started working. And I just spoke my mind. Okay, I just invited any spirit to to come to the table and to sit together with me because I have an agreement and so on. Of course, it didn't work. Okay, it didn't work because it just doesn't. The occult does not work that way. Magic does not work that way. But back then, I was an absolute beginner. I knew nothing. I literally knew nothing, and I was disappointed when no one came or no spirit appeared. Um, in any case, that's it. That's the only time that I've used a circle. Back in my old school Golden Dawn days. For the rest, I never use a circle. Now, no, absolutely not. Okay, talking to a spirit is literally like talking to someone. If I want to summon a spirit or if I want to talk to a spirit, I can literally just go like, hey, okay, you, where are you? And then he just appears. It sounds ridiculously easy, but this is the product of all the years of hard work that I've put into it. But thank goodness that's also the case. But I really don't, because I really don't have the time to carry out the ritual extensively. It's just impractical. I'd expect more at my level. So yeah, I'm able to summon spirits as easy as calling a person. Clark Dennis, hi. Can you reveal your Ouija board experiences, please? Yeah, I had a Ouija board in the beginning, but it didn't pan out. I I used a Ouija board once or twice, but a Ouija board does have a tendency to attract more aggressive spirits. I don't know exactly why. A Ouija board is nothing happens the first two times, the first times that you'll use it. And the theory behind this is I don't have extensive experience because a Ouija board is impractical and whatnot. I only used the Ouija board once or twice. I was just looking for a shortcut to make things as easy as possible. But the drawback is also that it's almost like talking to an autistic person, you know, just dealing with letters and numbers and all of that. I think a Ouija board only has letters. I don't know. I can't remember. But it doesn't matter. It's just impractical, to be honest. And in terms of my Ouija board experiences, the theory behind it, I read somewhere online too when I was doing research when it didn't work initially, is that your energy needs to be fused, your astral energy needs to be fused with your astral energy needs to be fused with it first, with the Ouija board, with the board itself, and then contact will come with any astral entity. And after trying a couple of times, I was able to make contact with someone um, by the name of Hansim. That's spelled Hansim. It's been so long ago, and yet I still remember it. Oh. Yeah, so I managed to make contact with that person, and I just got gibberish. I don't know. That person was either, that person was not coming through normally due to the lack of energy. There wasn't enough energy put into the whole matter. And that person started getting annoyed. But to be honest, I can't blame that person. I just simply asked that person a couple of questions and I just got illiterate mumbling. I just got letters that made no sense whatsoever. I just got letters that made no sense whatsoever. Okay, just G H Q this and that. Nothing coherent. Just his name and all of that was with difficulty. And after asking him the third or the fourth time, honestly, he just told me to fuck off. He told me to fuck off. Don't ask me the same fucking question over and over again. Sorry for the swearing, but that's literally what he said, or at least similar to what he said. He started to swear. And I did feel startled a bit. It startled me. I mean, if you're an absolute beginner, something like that will startle you, especially if you take into account that some people are of the opinion that your subconscious moves the board around. I was very careful about not doing that. I confirmed for myself that when the board was moving, that it was not my subconscious, that something was moving my hands. But contact is supposed to get better with time, okay? Because the board moved really slow. But again, this was my absolute first time. So when I did all of this, I just stopped. When I got startled, I just apologized. I told him I told him, I'm sorry. I just apologize. I'm sorry for asking you the same stupid question over and over again. Because the truth be told, I mean, this goes for any of us. If you were to ask me the same question 3 or 4 times, I would probably either react the same way or I would react significantly more aggressively. So yeah, that is it in terms of my Ouija board experiences. And after that, I just closed off the board and I never used it again. I just placed it somewhere and I literally never used it again, to the point where I threw it away when I moved to a different house. That was last year or a year or two ago. That was in the beginning of last year, or the end of 2017. And let's see, how to know, is it just you, or is it indeed the spirit? If you know what I mean. Does it move like by your own movements, or is it spirit outside of you using its own energy to move the planchette? Well, I just answered that, so there you go. And Goddess of the Earth continues, I find myself being visited by spirits at night while I'm trying to sleep. Heat radiates through my body and it keeps me awake. I do have a Belial altar in my room across from Lakshmi. Is this common? Yes, this is common. Okay. The energy also literally just moves through me. And that's the definition of being an invoker and invoking spirits. You're not calling forth energy or power outside of you externally. The power manifests through you. It's like being a lightning rod, and the lightning just hits you, and the electricity shoots through you. The electricity just shoots through you towards its desired point. So yeah, I have the same thing too, and people have told me, "Wow, you're really something else." When it comes to temperature, because it can be ridiculously cold, and rarely will I complain about the cold. I love the cold, but aside from that, if it's really primarily, I'm hot primarily due to spiritual energy. It it just makes my body overheat sometimes, but not in a way to damage my body. It can just be a minor discomfort on rare occasions. But like I said, I'm used to it. In the beginning, especially when I didn't have an air conditioner at home, and in my location, the average temperature is 30 plus degrees. So you can imagine how fed up I was in the beginning. But now I'm used to it, and I do have an AC in my living room, in my bedroom. So that's not an issue. As for Lakshmi, you've also asked me that, I think, in the comments section during one of my videos, or on one of my videos. I don't work with Hindu gods, okay? I'm not dissing Hindu gods or Indian gods, but I just personally don't like them really. I'm not fond of Hindu culture, to be honest. You could say that I have almost an aversion to Indians, to Hindus. Not to deter any Indian that likes my content or related, okay? This is just primarily due to negative experiences with Indians in my location. And I know that that's the way that Indians are, generally speaking. So the culture as a whole just doesn't appeal to me. I've already said that in the past in a video. The only Indian goddess that I've covered is Kali. I do like chthonic or destructive spirits, or spirits that have a dark aura around them, or a dark aura pertaining to them. So Kali appealed to me. And yeah, hence me doing a video on Kali. That's it. But not that I intend on working with any Hindu spirit or anything like that. I'm more fond, I don't like pagan gods in general, but I am more fond of pagan gods that stem from primarily European cultures. Let's just say Greek gods, the gods that you see in pop media, Norse gods. The Norse pantheon does have potential, because these gods, some of them are really strong. And to a lesser extent, Middle Eastern gods or pagan gods from Middle Eastern religions before Christ, for example, Babylonian gods. So hence me doing videos on Anu, on Tiamat, and all of that. Goddess of Earth has asked me, have you ever worked with Egyptian goddess Bastet? No, but funny story. Bastet appeared to me, I think, the day before yesterday evening. Yeah, when I woke, I sleep irregularly. Okay, that means that by that I mean that I sleep simply when I'm tired. Okay, it doesn't matter what the hour of the day is, and there are more than enough times where I go to sleep at 9 or 10 p.m. and I wake up in the middle of the night, and then I just go about my day. I do what I do as usually, and then I go to sleep again at 7 or 8 a.m. and I wake up in the afternoon around this time. The current time in my location is 2:05 p.m. 5 minutes past 2. And Bastet or Bast, I'm familiar with her, the Egyptian cat goddess. In short, she also appeared to me when I woke up at 3 a.m. And it was just mundane talk, okay, nothing special really. Spirits have also told me I'm sorry to hear that you aren't publishing new material anymore. A lot of spirits have told me that. Numerous spirits that I've either done videos on, and Bastet is the only one. I remember that I briefly thought about covering Bastet too, but I didn't do it anymore because point one, I don't like cats. I am a dog lover, so you can imagine I do not like cats. I would never harm a cat willingly, but I just don't like them. And point two, Bastet just seems impractical for me. Hold on, I need to check for myself if I maybe have some information on her. No, I have no information. Otherwise, I'd give it to you right now since I'm not publishing any new content. So yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's the only interaction I had with Bastet, and she just appeared as her stereotypical form, a huge cat, but with minor human features. Okay, a semi-human body and some human traits in her face, but for the rest, that's it. And that's the same thing we spoke of. Okay, she just told me something along the lines of, "I'm sorry, you're not doing any new material anymore. If you thought about covering me," and I just told her, that I tried. Well, not I don't know if you can remember, but I was going to cover you in the past, but I've just off it due to these changes. I have more than enough material, and she's like, "Okay, I understand. Bye." That's it. She came to me too in my sleep. I heard a cat meow about 10 times. Funny. Yeah, that doesn't seem out of the ordinary. And let's see, Clark Dennis again asks me, what is your opinion on Egypt, the Egyptian pantheon? I'm assuming Ra and Horus specifically. Ra and Horus, I have two articles on my website called Pagan Gods. Hold on for a second. Let me just look it up. And in it, I do discuss Ra and Horus, but only their attributes. Hold on. Let me see. Oh no, I don't discuss Horus. I just discuss Ra. Yeah, Ra is known as being a solar god, but in reality, Ra is Martian. Let's see. Planet Mars, zodiac sign Aries, 4 degrees. Description: general Martian affairs and very proud and fanatical. So yeah, there you have it, Clark Dennis. That is pretty much it on Ra. Okay, he's Martian, corresponds to 80 degrees in. I'm sorry, he corresponds to 4 degrees in Aries, and he's good for general Martian affairs. So offense, defensively, and proud and fanatical. More of an extremist individual. And yeah, a lot of people like to think of Ra as being solar because he was worshipped as the sun god in Egypt, but that's not the case. There are numerous spirits that I've encountered and numerous spirits that I've covered for which that's not the case. So the lesson here is to not be prejudiced or biased. Just because an entity was worshipped for fertility reasons, fertility would generally speaking be Venusian, does not mean that he or she or it is Venusian. Yeah, and for the rest, my general opinion on the Egyptian pantheon, the Egyptian pantheon does have some power or some semblance. Let's see, off the top of my head, spirits that I've covered, Egyptian pagan gods are Set, Anubis, Sobek, and let's see, Maat and Isis. And Maat is really strong. Okay, not compared to the rest. She is strong when it comes to a certain particular trait. But you can look up my website. You can look up all of that on my website. Okay, just look up Maat or Isis or Egyptian gods in the search bar, and you'll find them. Let me see. Goddess of Earth said, check. Yeah, I checked through your vids and didn't see any info. I don't like cats either. That's why I was shocked she came to me. Yeah, but just because you don't like cats, okay, she separates herself a bit from that. Just because she was associated with cats doesn't mean necessarily Goddess of Earth that she represents a cat as a whole. No, she still thinks, maybe you'd like to work with her. Maybe there is something that she has to offer you. And the same reason for me. She's anything but the only spirit that came to me. Okay, I've had numerous spirits come to me asking me to cover them. Another Egyptian god is Thoth too. Okay, the god of knowledge and learning and so on. I covered him too, but it's a really short article. A lot of these articles are short on my website because I don't have a lot to say, and these are spirits that I haven't done a video on because I didn't see the need of doing so. I just didn't see the need of doing so, to be honest. There's not a lot to talk about. I mean, if I haven't worked with a spirit, or if there's not enough extensive information that I can share with you guys, then no. Then at the very least, I group them together, and that's what I did. I do have videos on pagan gods. If you check through my channel and you look up pagan gods, then you'll find it. That's also an old video. Let's see. Clark Dennis says, okay, thanks, man. And I don't know, did you speak about it, but how did you find planetary correspondences for every spirit? By personal gnosis, or is there a site where it can be revealed? As a matter of fact, I do everything. Since I'm a proficient astrologer, I'm a master astrologer, even if I say so myself. I became an astrologer before I became an occultist, before I started working with spirits extensively. And I've gone above and beyond to the point where even zodiacal degrees and everything, I've managed to weed all of that out. And that's how I know exactly, okay? Because even if a spirit wanted to lie to you, via astrology, I know how to do it in such a way that I that that it reveals the truth. So astrology is immune from everything pretty much, except from God, of course, but not even a spirit can corrupt an astrological reading or anything like that. The basis behind astrology is that, from a religious perspective, is that the planets reveal um, God's will. Okay, they mirror God's will. So, hence the sun representing certain aspects, life, and all of that in such a way. So if I want to know about a spirit, I can just cast an extensive chart on him and what he or she has to offer or it has to offer. And I know that that's fact. So I can test it, and I know for a fact that that is fact. Even if a spirit wanted to tell me otherwise, nah, that's a no-go. But up to this date, no spirit has ever told me anything different. No spirit has ever lied to me and told me, no, I'm solar, I'm this, I'm that. And from their entire characteristics and their entire demeanor and way of doing things, I can I can automatically also conclude that my findings are correct. So yeah, in short, the answer is via divinatory readings, specifically as astrology. Um, let's see. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's it for your question, Clark Dennis. Now I'm gonna head a bit more upwards. Homer Simpson has asked a question. Is the spirit Kronos, god of time, powerful? Yes, he is. As a matter of fact, I worked a short time with Kronos. I have a thingy on my website. I have an article on my website of Kronos, but original pronunciation is Kronus, so Cronus instead of the Kronos as we're used to. But it doesn't matter. If you were to look him up on my site, regardless of which name you were to use, you should find it. It's not a long article, okay? Kronos does indeed master or specialize in time travel. And one of my dormant abilities, someone told me a long time ago, someone that's also very skilled and advanced when it comes to clairvoyance, told me that I have the ability to travel through time, but I will master it in time, literally in time, if I don't master it now. But I'm not so sure on whether I want to do so. No, I'm sorry. I'm just I'm just checking out the settings for this stream. Um, let me see. So yeah, that's it on Chronos. Okay, I was planning on mastering time traveling with Chronos, but that's a tremendous undertaking that requires a lot of time, energy, a lot of time and energy and effort. But with me stopping to publish new material, I don't know if I'll be picking up any new projects altogether or any new projects whatsoever. So yeah, that is it, bottom line. But yeah, Kronos was definitely an exceptional spirit. He is very powerful. He's the only spirit that I know that specializes in time travel. I mean, he really specializes in it. He can really teach you how to travel through time. And yeah, you're asking me now, is time travel literally possible? Yes, it is possible. Time travel is possible, okay? As far as I know, individuals have traveled through time already, but they simply keep it obscured or hidden. But in any case, I would not. If I ever master time traveling, then I'll definitely share it with you guys. And when I mean share, not only an article, I would share video material with you guys. And I would show you irrefutable proof by, for example, bringing back something from the Renaissance period or something that no human being from this timeline can possibly possess. But again, that's all speculation. I don't know if I will do so in the future. I don't think so, or even if I were to do so, on whether it would be a successful working. So yeah, there you go. Question answered. Let's see. Marcus A, you've spoken about choosing between Michael and Samael as a patron. Have you ever discussed the nature of a long-term pact with him? Benefits, drawbacks as opposed to Samael? If you mean, I'm assuming that you by discuss you mean on my channel. No, I've never discussed that. Okay, but I do have articles on at least one article on Michael, and I have two videos. Second video is the ode to Michael, because Michael has helped me a lot. Um, the choice is yours entirely. Okay, my Lord Samael is just a personal preference because, like I said, I like destructive spirits. I like spirits that deal with aggression and chaos and so on. Not that I'm looking to cause chaos, but I love that level of power. I love that destructive power. And yeah, Martian energy is the energy that I, by personality or personality wise, lack the most. So hence my choice. Michael is more of an all rounder. Michael can really power you up and balance you out in your life, give you the strength and the power you need to succeed in practically anything. But in a different way. My Lord Samael is different. Okay, he's more intimidating. Michael is more of an enlightened figure or an authoritative figure, if you will, in a normal and polite and decent way. Whereas my Lord Samael is like he is like he's just like a military leader. He's like a stereotypical warrior. And yeah, I have before choosing, I have thought about it long and hard enough, but the choice was obvious because I felt more attracted to him than Michael. But nevertheless, Michael is also great. I have worked with Michael for customers once or twice, and Michael has helped me. Michael has helped me with other things too. An example that I can give is that he has brought spirits to me. Whenever I wanted mercurial spirits, Michael would do me a solid without even asking for any offerings in return as a payment or anything like that. Michael would simply give me, just bring spirits to me and told me, here, spirits for the matter that you specifically need. And yeah, one of the spirits that I have, a mercurial angel called Spifer. He's ridiculously quick and fast and everything. One of those spirits that I have is he came from Michael. Michael is the one that introduced me to him and brought him to me, so to speak. And yeah, Michael has my eternal gratitude for that. Michael still regularly visits me. Okay, but no. For the rest, my choice was clear. My eternal loyalty is to Samael, not to Michael or anyone else. My loyalty primarily is to Samael, and secondarily is to my Vice Lord Sandalphon. Let's see. Goddess of Earth asks, thanks for your video on Falak. You said he specializes in wealth, and you were right. I did a simple summon, and within 5 days, I received a check for $2,570. Yes, it all differs per individual, okay? Falak, but not just Falak, okay? Any spirit, really. But yeah, Falah is also good for wealth, and it's all about opportunity. The reason that things went so well is not to bash Falah. I'm not dissing Falah, but the reason that it went so well, that you received such a check within 5 days, is because it was within your reach. It wasn't something that was going to take a year to accomplish. Okay, spirits by default use the easiest way to accomplish a goal. This accounts for any entity in the universe, even us as human beings. I myself, I'm not gonna do something the hard way when it can be done the easiest way. I look for the easiest option available. But generally speaking, nothing that's worth doing is easy. But the spirits, yeah, they'll choose the easiest way, regardless of which spirit I've worked with. These spirits have always, almost always done things this way. It'll only take longer if there are no opportunities or resources available within your immediate reach as a human being. So then they have to look more further. They have to look further in order to they have to look further in order to bring it to you, in order to make you succeed, and in order to have your desires manifest. That check, for example, you won't get that check if I'm just giving you an example. Okay, I'm happy for you and everything, but I wouldn't you won't get that check, for example, if you lived in a village where there are no employment opportunities. Everyone just grows crops and lives off of their own crops, and that's it. And you were looking for money. If you were to summon a spirit, it doesn't matter which spirit you were to summon for money. That spirit would guide you outside the city. That would be the message. The message would be obvious. Hey, move to the big city where there are millions of people. There's plenty of opportunity there that relates to your personality trait and what you're good at. But you won't get anywhere if you're looking for money, or if you're looking for investment opportunities or anything relating to financial wealth, more often than not, in some kind of rural village with less than 100 people where everything still works by trade. This is just an example, but you get the point. Let's see. Homer Simpson continues, is stopping time possible? Yes, stopping time is possible. Kronos tells me, but it is Kronos is literally just telling me this. It's actually a good question. Stopping time is possible, he says, but it takes an even more tremendous amount of energy than time traveling initially, and it will pretty much only apply to you as an individual within your dimension, if that makes any sense. I'm assuming that you know what he means. Okay, I know what he means, but I'm linked to him, so yeah, I understand what he means. He's telling me this astrally, so I get a vision in my head. So it will only apply to you specifically. Time will be stopped for you, but to other people, that will not be the case. So for other people, they will continue to move within their own timeline. So shortly summarized, stopping time is possible, but it is possible only within the confines of your own existence. Let's see, Clark Dennis, here goes big one. Can one work with both Qliphoth and Sephiroth, or are you limited to only one of them? No, you can work with both. I've climbed the tree of life as well as the tree of death. I've climbed the tree of life numerous times, let's just say 3-4 times via astral traveling. And the tree of death, or the Qliphoth, I've climbed that only once or twice. It's because I was reaching the end of my astral traveling mastery. And the sphere that I hadn't visited was Satan's sphere, the one that he shares Thaumiel. It's called Thaumiel, the one that he shares rulership with Moloch. So yeah, that's it. Okay, I didn't really notice anything. The Qliphoth was more. The Sephiroth, the Tree of Life is beautiful. Okay, aspects of it are really beautiful. But even the destructive aspect, for example, Gebura, which is marsh, is also beautiful. Most of the Sephiroth, or most of the Sephira, sorry, most of the points of creation, the aspects of creation on the Tree of Life, when I visited them, they looked like beautiful beaches filled with vegetation. It's just a general idea of what you would have, or a general concept of what you'd have of paradise. Lots of vegetation. I didn't see any animals mostly. Beautiful beach, beautiful sea, calm blue water. That's what it looked like. Okay, clear skies, not a cloud. Some had clouds, and it just goes on. Okay, all of them varying or different. But with the Clifford, yeah, with the Clifford, a lot of the Clifford look like dark, desolate places. They look like stereotypical horror movie places. Okay, I don't know if you've seen the movie Apollo 13. I think the horror variant thereof. In any case, it's almost like you're on the moon when traveling to the Clifford. It's like I was on the moon. Okay, other people's experiences are subjective and can vary, but to me, in any case, when I went to all the points of creation on the Tree of Death, most of them look like desolate landscapes filled with malformed and deformed creatures. Just stereotypical horror movie stuff. It's like you're on the moon. There is no light, nothing but darkness, and you can almost only see the surface, and nothing grows there. And that's it. That's the best example that I can give. It's like on the moon. It's like being on the moon. Not that I've been to the moon, but you know what I mean. Okay, yeah, where you see movies where you're when you see movies where astronauts walk on the moon, that's what it's like. But let's just say the horror movie version of it. And you're also asking, so angels will not bitch about. So angels thingy, YouTube flagged this almost as a high potential inappropriate comment because of the phrase bitch. No, it doesn't matter. So angels will not bitch you about working with demonic entities at all. So you mean so angels won't bitch about you working with demons? No, angels rule over demons. Okay, I've had angels refer me to demons because that demon, for example, was the best suited for accomplishing said goal. That's not something that you should forget. Okay, as above, so below. Angelic and celestial beings rule over every non-celestial being, pretty much. Generally speaking, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, yeah, you also have some one or two angels that serve under demons. I'm not gonna lie, but generally speaking, no. Angels rule over everything. Okay, that's why God created, and that's how God created angels. They rule over everything, especially the seven archangels. They rule over everything in existence, pretty much, from a general perspective. So that also includes demons. And like I said, I have come across situations where an angel has simply referred me to a demon. Hey, summon this one. He can help you with that. I'm overlooking everything. I'm managing everything. That's it. Homer Simpson asks, when we die, what happens? Well, for that, you'd have to go to my website. I have an article called The Spiritual Composition of Man. I have an article as well as a video on it, so knock yourself out. I don't have to explain the entire article here. Okay, you can read that article for itself because it is a mouthful, or you can watch the video. In it, I explain exactly what man is comprised of and what happens pretty much when you die. Reincarnation not included, but even on reincarnation, I also have a video. Someone new that I haven't seen before commenting on my videos, but you're welcome nevertheless, as long as you behave, of course. Astral Soul 119, have you ever thought of astral traveling to the Christian heaven? No, but that is very interesting. Okay, I haven't astral traveled in years. Not that I can't do it, but to me, astral traveling is so easy. I remember speaking to people in the past, or having spoken to people in the past, that astral traveling is that had such difficulty with astral traveling and getting outside their own body. But for me, it's ridiculously easy. I can literally just go like this. Okay, I'm gonna astral travel now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom, and I'm out. That's how easy it is to me. Okay, that's how easy it is for me. Sorry. But no, but nevertheless, that would seem interesting. But but yeah, I'm getting the impression, I'm being told too, that there would be a limit to how far obviously I travel. I'd only be able to travel to the most superficialist regions or the intermediary regions of heaven. There are seven heavens in total, and the rest is blocked off by angelic bodyguards, angels that are bodyguards. So yeah, cherubs and whatnot. Mhm. Is it possible to, Homer Simpson is asking me, is it possible to alter the timeline by time traveling? Yes, but the butterfly effect does apply here. Like I said, everything would apply to your timeline, but it would not apply to everyone else, to put it that way. Especially changes made to your own life. But you need to be wary of a ripple effect, the butterfly effect. So if you were to make the simplest of changes in the past and you were to come back to the present, then your life would look entirely different. Yeah, but to the rest of the world, that's not so much the case because it applies to you as an individual. Okay, I do need to point out here there are two. When I say timeline, right, there is a timeline that applies to the entire world. There's a timeline that applies to literally every entity on Earth, to put it like that, to every living thing on Earth, to the world as a whole. And then there's a timeline that applies to you personally. Okay, it's like your own personal life compared to global events taking place all across the globe. That's what I mean. Okay, the questions have eased down a bit, or have eased up a bit. Let me see. Nothing else really. So yeah, again, feel free. Anyone that is only just chiming in, feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask me any question. Okay, I'm just going to hang out here in the background. Be advised that as long as I don't go offline, I'm still online, and you're still welcome to ask me any question. Homer Simpson says, "Thank you for answering my questions." No problem, pal. I've never done this before, and I don't do this often. Clark Dennis, reason I asked that is because VK Jahannam said that you need to renounce Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh or Jehovah in order to work with infernal spirits. No, that's not true. Okay. The law of as above. So I'm not, before I continue, listen, I'm not going to bash or I'm not contradicting or saying anything negative, nor do I have any negative intentions towards other occultists. To each his own, and every person works in his or her own way that suits him the most. For me, the only thing that matters, or the primary thing that matters at the end of the day, are results. I can't do a single thing without results, otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for your opinion. No, VK Jahannam, he said that, regardless of who said that, that is not the case. You do not need to renounce Jehovah, okay? That also falls under the whole selling your soul to the devil and pact making and all of that crap. No, 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 no. None of that realistically applies, okay? As above, so below, that is the law applies. Okay, evil exists in the world solely by evil. From an occult perspective, I mean that infernal spirits in the world exist to balance out the universe as a whole. That's how God has created everything. That's why God has created a polar opposite to everything. O plus has minus, white has black, and so on. Almost everything that you can find, almost everything. I'm not sure if it is indeed everything, but at the very least, almost everything has a polar opposite. And it's the same thing. Demons exist to be ruled by angels, and vice versa. Angels exist to rule demons, generally speaking. And all of it falls under Almighty God. All of it falls under Yod He Vav He. Okay, God is the Alpha and the Omega. After all, begins and ends with Him, and all of that. So just because you work with infernal spirits does not mean that you're going to hell or anything similar. In case you were wondering that, because that's how it comes off. That's the vibe you're giving off. You're afraid, based on your questions, Clark Dennis. I'm assuming that you're afraid that if you work with demons, that a bunch of bad things might happen to you and you might end up in hell ultimately. No, that's not the case, period. Hmm. Someone new too, someone that I haven't seen before. Car CH or Car CH. Did a mighty and all-powerful entity like God actually listen to humans when they? You mean does a mighty and all-powerful God entity like God listen to people when they talk to him? Yes, he does listen, but you need to do things the right way, which is prescribed in the New Testament. Okay, the Old as well as the New Testament, but the New Testament forgoes the Old Testament. I have an article called "Does Praying to God Actually Work?" I suggest you check that one out. That explains in detail. Okay, praying to God is literally talking to God, but similar to a human to a person, if you want to talk to someone, you'll have to address them the right way. And the biggest problem is that a lot of people they don't. I mean, they the biggest problem with people is that they don't address God the proper way. They don't pray correctly. Okay, they fall into sinful ways of speaking, and then they think that they're actually doing right in terms of addressing God. So that's yeah, that's not gonna help. So yeah, that's to answer your question. Okay. Again, just go on my website morinoravenberg.com and look up in the search bar does praying to God work, and you'll find it right away. I have a thingy as well as a video, an article as well as an embedded video. Lazaro LG, I don't think I've seen you before. I can't remember. Or I haven't seen you often in any case, maybe once or twice. I'm not gonna lie, I'm high as hell. Is this life? I'm not even gonna reply to that, but that is a bit funny. Homer Simpson asks, "What do spirits do in their free time?" And the spirits live forever. Well, I don't know what spirits do in their free time. They have free time, but what they do in it is their own business. And whether spirits live forever, yes, okay, especially celestial beings. They are only destroyed by God. Okay, angels are only destroyed by gods, but there's a general saying: energy can never be destroyed. It can only be moved around or displaced, but it cannot be destroyed. So yeah, energy cannot be destroyed. Okay, Lazaro LG, you're new. Yeah, welcome. Let me see. Darius Ma, also new, is asking, I heard someone say that Jehovah is just a pagan god. Is that true? No, he is not. I could see why you would be tempted to think that, but no, that is not the case, okay? People that say this are simply people that have anti-Christian tendencies. Despite the fact that I'm not a Christian, I'm not biased towards Christianity, but no. By Jehovah, we mean the all-powerful God, you know, the monotheistic God. And no, he is not a pagan God. Okay, he is only a pagan God if you take it from the perspective of, hey, the Jews first work with him, and whether you choose to work with him, you name it. From such a perspective, then yeah, he's also a pagan God. But from a general Christian perspective, no. Okay, he's the all-powerful God. By pagan God, when we use the phrase pagan God, we think of thought forms that were created by a culture or a tribe of people. But no, okay, Jehovah existed long before us. He doesn't need us to exist. We need him. That's the main difference. With a pagan god, that's not the case. Pagan gods were created by people. And without people worshiping a pagan god, that god simply grows weak. He doesn't die or he doesn't cease to exist, but he does grow weak. And he basically lies dormant almost, if you will, having a set amount of energy. Um, Lazaro LG, I just turned 20. I'm a Gemini. Well, congrats. Okay, good for you if you're a Gemini. The sun was in Gemini when you were born. We don't know about the rest. Um, Low ray of pitch black again. Do you recommend giving offerings to Lucifer? Does he even want offerings? Yes. Okay, Lucifer does want offerings. Lucifer still visits me almost every day. And yeah, Lucifer is incredibly powerful. Like I state in the article and the video that I did on Lucifer, there's a reason that Lucifer in one or two grimoires is mentioned as the head, the absolute big boss man, the one at the top. Um, so yeah, Lucifer can help you out with certain matters, but Lucifer is also an all-rounder. Lucifer is like the infernal version of Michael, so to speak, if you will. Of course, no offense meant to Michael, but yeah, he's in this context, he's like the infernal version of Michael, an all-rounder more, and someone that can help you with practically anything. Although he does specialize in careers and making a name for yourself and advancing via those means. So yeah, that's it. Okay. For the rest, you can just use basic solar correspondences if you want to work with Lucifer. If you want to work with Lucifer, then yeah, just do your thing. You just use basic solar correspondences. Example is the first pinnacle of the sun, solar oil, or solar incense, frankincense incense, solar oil would be good, or frankincense oil. Those are the basic things that you need to keep in mind. Clark Dennis, once you said that you saw God in a vision, do you think he falls under Saturn? I understand he's almighty and above all that, but again, just interested in your opinion because a lot of Satanists publish that info by now. No, I have no idea why they equate God, the almighty God, with Saturn. Okay, people don't, I don't know, it's almost like people are too stupid or they have a hard head in being familiar with this. They simply can't grasp the concept of almightiness and impotence. Yeah, omnipotence. Sorry, not impotence. Omnipotence. Sorry. Um, the rules do not apply to God. Okay, God is the one that created the rules. He can make them. He can break them. He can circumvent them. He can do what he wants, whenever he wants, how he wants. So no rules apply to Jehovah, and that includes spiritual correspondences or planetary correspondences. Yeah, I can see vaguely where they equate Saturn with him because Saturn is a dark planet that, generally speaking, deals with destruction by necessary means and also torture from an infernal perspective. Okay, Satan is not exactly a planet that has a good reputation. Hardship and pain and misery are Saturnian, generally speaking, from a certain point of view. Other planets that also have destructive abilities are Mars and the Moon. The Moon more because the Moon deals with changing situations and switching things up. And Mars simply via violent means, destruction via violent means, okay? Carrying out destructive acts in a mean, and thereby being as gruesome about it as possible. Okay, with Saturn, it's more necessary destruction. For example, breaking off a building, that's a Saturnian trait. In order to rebuild something or in order to build something new, the old one has to be discarded or destroyed. That's necessary destruction, similar to necessary evils. Those are generally speaking, Saturnian. That's why a lot of spirits that you see, I'm not just going to move on just yet. That's why Clark Dennis, that's why a lot of spirits, and anyone else that's also following this question, that's why a lot of spirits that that's why a lot of spirits that that cause hauntings and related and haunt people and so on, more often than not, they're Saturnian. These spirits are Saturnian spirits or Plutonian spirits because Saturn and Pluto do have a lot in common. The only difference is that Pluto is more dominant in its demeanor, if you will, whereas Saturn deals with strict discipline. CarCH is asking, is there a punishment after death for those who deserve it? I think that you're a more reliable source than all the idiots I discussed it with. Yes, that all depends. That all depends on how you have lived your existence or how you've lived your life or multiple lives if you've had them, if you've been reincarnated. Again, like the Bible states, okay, you don't have to be a Christian to grasp this concept. Just from a neutral perspective, anyone that reads the Bible would see that practically everything in it is mentioned. Almost everything mentioned in it. I'm saying almost because I'm not sure if everything in it is true. I've only read the Old as well as the New Testament once in my life when I was a child, but it had such an impact and such an effect on me that I never forgot it again. And everything in it is true. The same things, okay, that you see, that there will be wars, world wars, that people only care about money, about sex, about stuffing their face with food, that the sin is in, if you will, that it's trendy, okay, it's in to be a sinner. All of these things are true. And that in the last days, Christians will be chastised. It's already starting to happen. So we're already in the end phase of mankind, or in the end phase of existence, based on my own observation. Um, and yeah, when the world comes to an end, when everything is brought to an end, then yeah, God will judge everyone based on their deeds. Did you live according to? Did you live according to? Did you live according to God's testament? Did you live according to the way He wanted you to live? Did you obey the rules? If you, everything will be summed up, okay, all the things you did wrong and all the things you did right. And based on what I know, okay, based on my own knowledge and intellect, it's simply a matter of deducting it. If you did more good than harm, then yeah, your chances of ending up in heaven are greater. But if you did significantly more harm than good, then only in exceptional cases will you be pardoned or forgiven. Again, this is all God's call, okay? This all depends on God. It all has to do with whether you're genuinely, whether you've genuinely renounced your sins, whether you're genuinely sorry and you denounce your sins in that very moment or over the course of your lifetime. It all depends on, metaphorically speaking, what's in your heart. But in any case, if you're just, let's just say, if you're metaphorically speaking, you're just a cold son of a bitch that only that has done much more harm than good and doesn't regret it, you're genuinely evil, then yeah, into eternal damnation you go. It's off to hell with you. Let me see. Astral Soul 119, you mentioned infernal spirits hurting you in return for helping you out afterwards. Is this the case for everyone? EA Koering and other magicians speak good of the Goetia. This is a misconception, okay? The not every Goetic spirits are spirits, okay? They're not demons. Popular media does love to demonize Goetic spirits. I'm not saying that they're not demons, okay? Uh, a good deal of Goetic spirits are infernal spirits too, but a good portion of them are also pagan gods that have been demonized when Christianity took over pagan lands and whatnot. And yeah, I also speak good of the Goetia. The Goetia has more than a fair share of good spirits. What I do not advocate in the Goetia is attributes and whatnot. I discuss I discuss this in, if you were to look up my YouTube channel or my website, I have articles on the evaluating the Goetia, and I have articles on all of that, and and this topic as a whole. I've worked with numerous Goetic spirits, and I also discussed I can't remember the name. I'm trying to remember the name of the video. In any case, I discussed, this wasn't about the Goetia in particular. This was about grimoires overall. A lot of these grimoires, what magicians used to do, they used to spread false information or misinformation in their grimoires, in particular the spirits, their attributes and their specialties and what they can do, because they wanted to throw off people that were unworthy. Their opinion was, okay, this information is divine, and imagine what were to happen if I were to make it easy and if it were to fall into the wrong hands. So as a measure, they simply added a lot of misinformation just to throw people off track. People that aren't worthy, so to speak, people that only show a superficial interest, won't get anywhere. Whereas people that actually put in the work and are dead serious about working with the spirit will uncover the truth sooner or later. And then you'll see that, hey, a lot of spiritual attributes are not true. A lot of things aren't true. A lot of these things aren't true. The spirit, it's said that he can make you fly. It's all bullshit. It's all nonsense. That's what I mean. Um, let me see. And yeah, no, I didn't say that infernal spirits hurt me in return for helping me. I simply said that infernal spirits sometimes that with infernal spirits, generally speaking, it's give and take. Okay, you if an infernal spirit gives you something, then something will be taken in return sooner or later, generally speaking. So, for example, if you want money and you're summoning a demon to help you out with money, that demon will find the easiest way. For example, is that you have for example, and you told them it doesn't matter what you have to do, just get me my money. It does not matter. No holds barred, none of that. What do you think that demon is going to do? That demon wouldn't. Let me just say, don't be surprised if that demon burns down your house because you had the house insured, and you get a hefty check from the insurance company for your troubles. See what that demon did? He helped you out in your life by getting you what you wanted, but something was taken in return. Instead of that, you have to find a new place to live and all of that. And yeah, it's give and take, generally speaking, with demons. That's what I meant. I never said that demons hurt me in return for helping me out afterwards. Let me see. Clark Dennis, I also realized a lot of shit that has happened, and that I know the correct time was indeed a Saturnian hour more than a few times. I found that interesting. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but yeah, the number corresponding to Saturn is 3. I do have a video called The Significance of the Number 3, and in it I discussed the bond that 3 has with Saturn. Okay, but because there have also been numerous times where I've woken up exactly at 3 a.m. or when something exactly has happened at 3 a.m. or when a spirit visits me at 3 a.m. So yeah, yeah, but don't be surprised if there is a link. Okay, when bad things happen and you see the involvement of Saturn, then yeah, it's like I said, it's necessary destruction. Oh, okay. Astral Soul 119 says because you also mentioned Bune hurting you before. Yeah, but that was in the video where I mentioned that Bune, that she didn't hurt me literally, but some spirits that you work with, spirits that have strong Martian traits, especially infernal spirits, these spirits will cause minor misfortunes, something falling on your leg, not to the point where it breaks your leg, but to the point where you have a gash, or stubbing your toe, or, for example, hitting your hand hard against something to the point where your hand hurts. Those kind of mundane misfortunes, that's what I mean. Okay, well, it differs per spirit, but generally speaking, it's give and take. Homer Simpson says, I had a sleep paralysis and saw a huge cross shining and shaking in front of me. Does this mean something? The kind of crosses that you see at church, or a cross that you see at church, he means death. Okay. No, that doesn't necessarily have to mean anything. Honestly, you'll only if it does really mean anything, then you'll find out sooner or later. But no, it could also be your subconscious that wants you to go back to church or something similar. Don't automatically assume that everything that happens is divine or has an occult background. Sometimes shit just happens, and other times, okay, if you get a dream, then it's just that. It's just a dream. It's just mundane. Um, an example that I can give is that when I astral traveled the first time, I I saw Baphomet. For those of you that aren't familiar with Baphomet, is also known as the Goat of Mendes, is simply the sign of a human with a goat's head pointing upwards as well as downwards. It generally speaking reflects the law of as above, so below, the occult as well as universal law of as above, so below. The goat usually has a moon above his head, and he points upwards with two sets of fingers, with one hand, and with the other hand he points downwards to hell, presumably, and the other one to heaven. I saw that image floating above my physical body when I first astral traveled the first or the second time, but I never found out what that means. And again, it was just most likely just a reflection to as above, so below. Me working with angels as well as demons, or me being balanced in terms of good and evil. It could mean anything, but it's nothing really worth mentioning, or it's nothing that was worth my time to the point where I went to I went to do my own research on what it means exactly. Otherwise, if it were that important, then I would have gotten it multiple times, and it would have, metaphorically speaking, bothered me. Not that it bothered me, but it would have bothered me multiple times. And in any case, there more would have come of it. But that's not the case. So yeah, that's an example. Sometimes a thing is just a thing. Darius Ma is asking me, is it possible that I can get punished for leaving the religion I was born into? You mean punished from a spiritual perspective? No, only in highly exceptional cases. Bottom line is that you need to do what's best for you, regardless of the risks involved. There are risks involved to everything. Little ray of pitch black. So does following Lucifer destine us to eternal damnation, as the Bible says, or do you think we have a different, better place in hell for followers of Lucifer? This is the answer to this is the same as it's the same answer that I gave to Clark Dennis, I think. No, I'm sorry, not Clark Dennis. Let's see. The car CH. Okay. Bottom line is that just because you work with a demon does not mean that you're automatically destined to go to hell. If you work with Lucifer, even if you swear your oath to Lucifer, hey, you're my patron, I'll be with you. I will work with you, and you're my business associate. Okay, we're like husband and wife. We have a strong bond with each other. Uh, I'm there for you, and vice versa, even in the afterlife, you name it. Does not mean that you'll be ending up in hell. Where you end up, eternal damnation or eternal salvation, depends all on God, period. It all depends on God. It all depends on how much you've done right versus how much you've done wrong over the course of your entire existence. And even then, there are exceptions. Like I said, no rules apply to God, okay? If God says someone could go to hell despite how much shit he's done, then yeah, that's God's call. It is beyond our comprehension to understand such a decision. And to understand God as a whole, we can only come close. But God is like a human being, and we're like ants. Have you ever tried to explain to to an ant, if you were a human being, as a human being, have you ever tried to explain to an ant how the universe works, how complex society is, and what businesses are, and how the human world works? No, because for that ant, it's too much to grasp. The concept is too much to grasp. It's the same thing for us, in contrast to God. Okay, it doesn't matter how hard we try, we'll never be able to understand God. um, Homer Simpson asks me, is teleportation possible? It would be very useful. Yes, it is possible. Teleportation is simply an adjusted version of time traveling, but it's just moving from place to place instead of just fixed time travel. Sorry, people, I had to get myself something to drink because I'm starting to get a dry throat. That's what happens when you talk all the time. Not that I mind. Ah, okay. Darius Ma says, thank you for the clear answers. No problem. Clark, then tell us more about Sandalphon if it's okay. He seems to be cool angel. If that's not the case, he would not be your patron spirit, I guess. No, he would not. I love my beloved Vice Lord Sandalphon. That's why I gave him that title. He is second in command. My Lord Samael is the first. That's why you can also see him incorporated on most of my material. Okay, it's not just my Lord Samael. My Vice Lord Sandalphon is also next to me always, and he's with me always. And yeah, Sandalphon is a cool angel. I've already discussed that in material. that I publish articles and videos and whatnot. Sandalphon is very adaptable, okay, and he works ridiculously quick, not in a mercurial way, but he produces results quick, and the results are very good and very strong in relation to specifically wealth. Okay, the reason I chose Sandalphon as a wealth spirit is after I was stranded by Clonec. No offense meant to Clonec, but I tasked the Infernal Spirit Clonec with being my financial manager. So seeing the in and outflow of money in my life, or simply generating funds and seeing to my wealth status, material wealth status. It just happened for reasons that I'm not going to get into right now that I became stranded. And I had this, I said to myself, I had no idea whom I wanted to work with. And that's when I came across Sandalphon, and I really had to think about it, okay, because this was a huge decision. But that's when I chose Sandalphon. And when I first started working with him, he had an introductory form, which is just a gentle, beautiful, feminine man dressed in dark colors, green and black and whatnot. And he was very quiet. Okay, he's nowhere near the way he is now. He's I've known him enough to the point where he showed me his true form. And after a while, he just showed me his true form. And like I said, Sandalphon works really quick, and Sandalphon is also very adaptable. Sandalphon can easily mimic anything, pretty much, um, because I'm well connected with his mind. But he can mimic anything. If you're an operator, he can shape shift like no other. Is what I'm saying. He can turn himself into anything just at a whim. He's that adaptable. He almost reminds me of water. And yeah, for the rest, Sandalphon is helpful in practically every regard. Can't think of a single bad thing or a drawback relating to my work with Sandalphon. Nah, he's just done extremely well. And for the rest, he's very fashionable. That's also what I love about him. You can imagine, just imagine a fashion designer. He's all about Louis Vuitton and all about Calvin Klein, so to speak. He's very fashionable, okay? Generally speaking, he appears as a huge, tall angel. That's also why it's also said that Sandalphon is tall, and because he really is. Okay, he's just as tall as my Lord Samael. They're both just as tall. So when appearing, they both of them appear almost, let's say, 3 meters in height or something, 2 to 3 meters in height. But all of that is subject. They can shrink themselves down whenever it suits them or whenever they want to. But generally speaking, he appears as a tall angel, dressed in very nice clothing. You can tell that it's expensive. His jacket that he's wearing is, if I need to go into detail, his jacket is made up of golden buttons, and sometimes he holds a lantern, and he almost always holds a spear. I always see him with the spear. I never see him without the spear. Truth be told, a lot of angels appear like this. Most angels appear this way more often than not when it comes to the spear and just a general robe that they're wearing. But in his case, he really is fashionable, and he's also very feminine. He is kind of like a beautiful man, let me put it that way. His hair is in a bun most of the times, and it's blonde, and he wears glasses. It could be transparent, it could be blue. Sandalphon's influence on me is also the reason that I've become more fashionable. An example is the image that I have right now on my live stream. The glasses that you see me wearing there, the gloves and everything. As you can see, my entire outfit is well aligned. Okay, I'm wearing the theme is blue. And in hindsight, I didn't used to be this way. Okay, before Sandalphon, I wasn't this. Let's just say I didn't have too much of a fashion sense, but now I have corresponding glasses, and these are also expensive. I'm not gonna lie, I have a bunch of expensive shit, okay, that I bought over the course of time, and all of this is good, obviously. Okay, it has increased my quality of life. I my Sandalphon has influenced me to become more fashionable, to gain a fashion sense, and everything, even down to the furniture in my house, and my bed sheets and bedspreads are very let's just say they're not what I would used to have years ago. I used to be kind of like a primitive guy, you know. It doesn't matter, bed sheets are bed sheets. That's what I was like. But thanks to him, I've been focusing. Thanks to his influence, I've been focusing a lot more on quality, regardless of the price. And I've also become ridiculously extravagant. I've practically seen the entire country I live in. I've been to every place you can imagine. The only places I have not been to are places that you need to visit by plane or by helicopter, and there's nothing there. You'll just end up flying to some no man's land in the jungle with some tiny village consisting of 100 people with a couple of broken down houses, and that is all. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to do any of these things for a whopping price of $2,000 American dollars just to take a plane coming and going to see nothing. But that's just an example, okay? When I tell people that how many places I've been to and the expenses associated with it, this is friends of mine internationally. I have friends worldwide. And a lot of my customers have become good friends, people that I've bonded with through doing business with them. These people are, these people, when I tell them the things I do and the places I go to, they're just telling me, wow, you're really living the life. Holy crap. I mean, the amount of money that you're spending, I couldn't even dream of spending that kind of money. This is just an example, okay? All of this summarized is just to hint at Sandalphon's influence and how much he can do for you. For the rest, Sandalphon, as ruler of the earth, he shares that rule with Oriel, but Oriel is different. The Archangel Oriel rules earth from a universal perspective. Let's just say a cosmos, a cosmos-like perspective, okay, a space set perspective or an astrological perspective, whereas Sandalphon is literally about, I'm sorry, yeah, Sandalphon is about the element earth itself, the soil. That's what Sandalphon rules over, nature, you name it. These things, all things belong unto the earth or Sandalphon. So yeah, hence him also being good with money, ridiculously good with money. Corresponding zodiac sign is Taurus, 14 degrees in Taurus, which stands for movement. Yeah, it's 14. And hence him also favoring things like things from the soil. We're talking about anything that hints at wealth, precious metals, gold, silver, bronze, you name it. All of these things, palladium, all things relating to wealth, okay? But these things are primarily more a hint at terrestrial life. I mean, at the earth instead of just money, okay? But in my case, it aligns well. It reflects, when making offerings, it reflects what I want from him. I'm giving him money because I want money. And I'm giving him money because I want money. And the things that I'm giving him also have incredible value. Other things that Sandalphon also likes are things that expensive things, you know, you would find in a store. Expensive expensive goods relating to brands. We're saying, I'm talking about, let's just say Lacoste t-shirts, anything, Gucci, things that are really expensive and things that are very fashionable, things that only rich people would buy. Let me put it that way. That's that. And last but not least, he also loves diamonds. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get him a diamond just yet, but or diamonds just yet. But yeah, I will definitely get him in the future. He loves diamonds, especially colored diamonds. And as you already know, as most of us, as all of us practically know, diamonds are not cheap. Not that I'm complaining. So yeah, that's the influence that he's had on me and whatnot. Okay, he opposes my Lord Samael in a certain way from an elemental perspective, but they go well together, ridiculously well together, because they've also helped each other in terms of growing spiritually and becoming better and stronger. He has learned from my Lord Samael and vice versa. My Lord Samael has learned from him. And yeah, that is it on Sandalphon. And that's also why Sandalphon has his flag above my house, right next to my Lord Samael's house. Right next to my I'm sorry, right next to my Lord Samael's flag. For people that follow me, they know what my house looks like. Okay, I have two flags in front, one red, one blue. The red one is my Lord Samael's with the zodiac sign Aries on top of it, and the other one is my Vice Lord Sandalphon with the part of fortune symbol, which is his symbol, logo, seal, whatever, also beside it. Um, Erika Pedro is asking me, how would you suggest finding the first angel and demon to work with? What process should one begin with to see who wants to work with me? It all depends on your personal preference. There are plenty of spirits out there that are willing to help you out. Okay, it's simply a cut and dry matter, or a dry and cut matter. No, it's cut and dry. I'm sorry. It's simply a matter of knowing what you want. Okay, this is easy. I mean, this is just basic thinking. It's like going to the store. You don't have to overthink an entire matter. If you want money, or if you want clairvoyance, then you simply go to a spirit that specializes in either money or clairvoyance. Regarding that spirit's affinity or that spirit's alignment, whether it's a celestial spirit or an infernal spirit, that all depends on you. You need to simply check to see who appeals to you or whom appeals to you. If angels appeal to you, then yeah. If demons appeal to you, then yeah, go with that. It all depends on you. Rafael Ferreira, do you know anything about the excess from Kimbanda? No, not really. But let me just look up. Kimbanda is an Afro-Brazilian religion practiced primarily in the urban centers of Brazil. Kimbanda practices are associated with magic rituals and excess, and Pombagira spirits. Kimbanda was originally contained under the religious tradition of Macumba. Okay, no, I'm not familiar with it. I could be wrong. Okay, please let me know if I'm wrong. But just off the top of my head, if I were to just take a look at it, it seems almost like, but yeah, its roots are African because it seems African. It reminds me a bit of voodoo and other folk practices in Africa. That's why it's Afro-Brazilian. Okay. Mm. Homer Simpson, can Kronos help me with time travel, teleportation, and stopping time? Yes, he can, but it all depends on the individual. He says you need to be proficient first in terms of summoning and working with spirits. So Astral Soul 119, do you think Satan is a fallen angel? Satan is a fallen angel. I state that in the article. Satan is a fallen angel. Read the article on Satan if you want to know more. CarCH, how come some dead humans can help with healing or other miracles like Jesus or saints? Is God giving them some special powers? No, CarCH or CarCH. Uh, that is Necromancy 101. When you die, you will have abilities, but similar to the abilities that you had when you were alive. It's all about practice makes perfect and gaining experience. If you if you're dead and let's just say you were a nurse in real life, you had experience in healing people, then yeah, you're going to take that with you into the afterlife more often than not in general. And you will be able, with more practice, to heal people. So that's normal. It's not that God is giving them special powers. Clark Dennis, some forces say he's connected with left pillar on Tree of Life while he's connected and correspondent with Malkut. I'm assuming you mean my Vice Lord Sandalphon. Um, no, he corresponds to Malkut. He's the ruler of Malkut. Okay, he corresponds to literally Malkut, which is the Sephira that signifies or that aligns with the earth itself from a naturistic perspective. Oh, so that's it. Little Ray of Pitch Black. If you ever come to visit Miami, I would love to meet you. It would be an honor. Yeah, likewise. Definitely. I am definitely going to visit the US sometime, but not right now. Okay. Honestly, I would love to move to the US. It would not be an issue, but as most people that follow me know, that I am right-leaning, politically speaking. I am more of a Republican kind of person. I'm more an alt-rightist. And if I simply see in daily life what liberals are doing in the US, especially what I'm talking about, I'm not just dissing any liberals, but if I'm seeing what the left is doing, the political left is doing in the US, things are going way too far and getting way out of hand. And that only makes me not to want to move to the US. So hence me not doing so. That's it. But regardless of that, regardless of the whole political, that's just briefly put the reason for me not moving to the US. Otherwise, the US would be ideal for me. But in any case, yeah, I'd still love to vacation, okay? And Miami would be one of the spots. Washington, Miami, I don't know, California would still be accessible because California is going downhill in ridiculously quick fashion. But in any case, yeah, likewise, okay, little ray of pitch black, likewise. Let me see. Erica Pedro, how would you describe finding your demon? I've heard many explanations of what the personal demon is yourself, soul part. What's your take on the demon? Or daimon, the way you're pronouncing it. Daemon. Demon or daimon, the way you're pronouncing it, simply means God. Okay. This language is derived from when Christians demonized a lot of pagan gods, or a good deal of pagan gods that other cultures that they overthrew worship, and they started calling them daimons or demons. But finding your demon, honestly, there's no such thing as finding your demon. If you're interested in finding a spirit that is personal to you, then the higher self is present. Yes. And I have an article on the higher self. This is also loosely stated your own personal guardian angel. And this higher self is in between. This higher self is a separate entity. It's not, it's neither, it is celestial traditionally, but in practice, it's neither celestial or infernal. There again, on my website, see an article, just type in on the search bar higher self and you'll find it. And you'll see what the higher self is, or better said, hold on. Let me just do it for you since I'm already on the website. Higher self, hold on, higher self. Yeah, just give me a second. I'm still here. Just give me a second. Let me just. I'm sorry, I don't have an article. I have a video on the higher self. Erica Pedro. So here you go, Erica Pedro. This is the link in the chat bar. The link to the video, okay, on the higher self. In it, I explain what a higher self is, and so on. Long story short, it's a spirit that's made specifically for you by God Himself to help you in your current lifetime or your current life cycle, assuming that you will have multiple life cycles. So yeah, knock yourself out with that. And yeah, these spirits, your higher selves, are ridiculously strong. Okay, they're more than equipped to help you with whatever you need in life. Specifically, they're equipped with the skill and character traits to help you at what you need most in your life. Example, if you're someone that's dead broke and you need money the most, then yeah, your spirit, your higher self will specialize in wealth. Your higher self has the same name you do, it has the same everything. It's like the astral mirror version of you. Clark Dennis, is it true that people's ascendant reveal higher self? No. Homer Simpson, will you do another live stream in the future? I think I already said that 2 or 3 times, but it's okay. I'm assuming that you weren't online then in the beginning. I don't know if I'll be doing another live stream in the future. I honestly have no idea. Okay, this is just out of the blue. The idea just itched at me. It took root in my mind yesterday, and I said to myself, "Nah, a live stream would be too much like a video, and I don't want to do that anymore." Blah blah blah. But today I just made the spontaneous decision of doing a live stream, and I thought, you know what? Let's see how it goes. Let's see whether there's any interest or not, because I was metaphorically speaking afraid that no one was going to react, or that the stream was going to be empty, or anything like that. So honestly, my plain and simple answer is I have no idea, no idea on whether I'll be doing a live stream in the future. And oh yeah, in terms of what you can expect from me, regarding new videos. Like I said, no more new spirit videos or new occult material, but I will still be posting on occasion personal videos, videos that are personal to me. So when I move, for example, and I finally leave here, and I end up in my new destination where I'll be staying for the rest of my life, or anything relating to that, anything of a personal nature that is noteworthy, anything that's worth mentioning in my life as a whole, I will be posting that video wise. That will simply be a neutral video. Clark Dennis says, thanks, that idea was awesome, man. I don't know exactly what you're referring to. What are you referring to? Let's see. Yeah, Homer Simpson. Well, thank you for doing this live stream. It really answered my question. Even questions. Yeah, sure, no problem. Anytime, buddy. Astro Soul 119. How did you remove evil spirits from your house if you have ever encountered them? This is a general. This is just a general problem that people have, and I have had problems with spirits, but not a specific or particular haunting. So I'm not going to go into personal examples. A general statement that I'm going to make: if you want to remove evil spirits, to remove evil spirits from your house, if you've ever encountered them, is simply by doing several things. Okay, washing the house with salt water or a mixture of salt water and garlic, cleansing the house with either sage or burning incense in the house, preferably dragon's blood. Dragon's blood is ridiculously strong and neutralizes almost any energy in a house, and do so for an extensive amount of time. So let's just say a month or two, depending on the severity of said haunting. That will do the trick, generally speaking. Otherwise, you can also just ask someone that's proficient, a magician like me, an occultist, someone that's proficient in spirit summoning, to cleanse a house via a spirit that specializes in removing evil spirits from a house or spirits that are causing problems. Um, Clark Dennis, it would be great that you make advertisement or announcement to make live streams. I didn't say anything relating to advertisements and announcements. I didn't either, really. Like I said, this was just a run of the mill idea, doing a live stream. It is simply different than it's different interacting with people. In some aspects, it's better and it's more fun interacting with people in via a real life system or in real time than to just reply to a comment on one of my videos. Yes, thank you for the live stream, Erika Pedro, no problem. Little Ray of Pitch Black, thank you so much, Morning. I love hearing anything you have to say. I'm assuming that it's autocorrect or something. You mean Morino? Yeah. No, no problem. Anytime. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Okay, I will see. I will still hang around a bit. I don't know, maybe for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to see if anyone has any other questions. If I don't see enough engagement or anything like that, then yeah, I think it's time to close off that live stream then, to go offline. So again, shoot if you have any other questions. I'm here regardless. I deliberately chose to not add any background music but primarily it's because this is the first time that I'm doing a live stream. So it's more of a test live stream. And secondly, I think it would be a bit out of touch to add background music the way that other live streamers do. It would simply be a distraction. Car CH says, last question, don't want to abuse the free consultation. It's already very kind to answer us. Good that you know. Yeah, exactly. Okay. One of the biggest things that people do I don't like, or one of the things that people do that I don't like, that one of the things that vexes me the most is that you often have these freeloaders that try to ask for free help and advice on a video that I published. You know, some of these freeloaders that comment in the comment section, and they just ask a billion questions when, to be honest, time is money. My time is money. I'm not going to answer 21 questions of yours when you're not even a customer yet. I mean, if you're a customer, then I don't mind answering a couple of questions, or if you're a repeat customer. But I'm definitely not going to answer you extensively and answer every question you have about the occult on when we haven't done any business yet. Okay, some people might see this as greed, but normal people know that this is not the case. Okay, anyone that thinks rationally knows that this is not the case. Fact of the matter is that this knowledge is not free unless I choose to make it so, and I am doing that via this live stream. But again, superficial questions are okay with me for this live stream. After all, I'm the one that's streaming live, and therefore I'm the one making the decision to answer questions. But again, I advise anyone to refrain from asking me questions that that require one hell of an answer, that require an extensive answer, 5-6 pages long. No, I'm not going to help you out like that. So yeah, that is that. And yeah, for the rest, Car CH says, any spirit recommendation to get help for one of the hardest exams in the world? A lawyer in Europe. So obviously you live in Europe. Oh, you're studying to be a lawyer in Europe. Now I get it. Any spirit recommendations for educational matters? Yeah, hold on. I also have that on my website. On my website, a lot of people are missing things. I have in the sidebar a section I have a section, for example, spirits based on planetary alignment. I have spirits based by need. You have spirits based by need: money, travel and communication, offense and defense, love and sex matters, knowledge and wisdom, clairvoyance, law-based matters. So Car CH, I am going to send you the link via the chat. This is the that is the section. Okay, that's the knowledge category on my website. In it, you'll find a list of spirits categorized by knowledge. So they can either help you obtain knowledge, or they can either teach you something, and you name it. Just go through it and knock yourself out. You'll see for yourself which spirit specializes in what, and and so on. And in what way that spirit can help you. And this is actually not this is actually not a bad idea. Okay, things like learning a language or help with studying and so on, these are actually quite recommended topics, although I've never had an actual customer that does stuff like this, or that has actively placed an order for something like this. Most customers of mine either want love or sex related things, or they want financial related things, money matters, you name it. Those are absolute toppers. I know it sounds silly, but means a lot to me. Car CH? No, it doesn't. Very normal. Help in studying. I mean, imagine what you can do if you can find a spirit that will help you in memorizing the knowledge you need to memorize in order to pass to the point where you almost have a photographic memory. It is far-fetched, but if you're able to achieve something like that, then you'll never have problems studying again. So yeah, that's a very practical goal. Goddess of Earth, how do you handle your family members in regards to being in the occult? Goddess of Earth, there is no other way to say this. This is just so you guys know, okay? I state you on my website that I am the reincarnation of a Dutch magician. I'm the reincarnation of a white Dutch magician, a white Dutch occultist that lived a couple of centuries ago. But obviously, in this lifetime, well, I'm the reincarnation of that. So, but materially speaking or physically speaking, you can see that I'm a colored guy. My parents were of a mixed race. My father was black and my mother was Indian, as in Hindu. So dealing with family members, my family, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable here too, okay? But I've disowned my family because these people aren't really my family. My entire life I've heard, that guy's your father? No offense, but you guys don't even look alike. You guys don't even act alike. And I was like, yeah, what do you want me to say? So me and my folks, or me and my family as a whole, we have nothing in common. My family is just, they're just stereotypically local people. They're the same way that local people are here. In short, they're exactly the opposite of what I am. That's what local people here are like. And I am an entirely different animal altogether. And yeah, that's the way they are. So I don't even have to worry about family or dealing with family in terms of regarding the occult. I'm 33 right now. At the time of this recording, I turned 34 in September, and I've lived on my own ever since I was 20 years old or 20 something. And when I left my elderly house, I simply told my parents, I'm leaving. This is it. And I'm not going to lie. I don't want to see you guys ever again. I want nothing to do with any one side of the family, okay? We have nothing in common, and you guys honestly don't mean anything to me. It might sound cold and harsh to anyone that is on good terms with their family. But again, for anyone that's capable of doing so, look at it from my perspective. These people are not my family. I mean, this country is not my country. I stick out like a white guy amongst black guys or a black guy amongst white guys. So yeah, that is it. So I never had to worry about family members. But I think the question that is on your mind right now is the how to deal with your family members. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking me this question. I'm assuming that you live in a house with multiple family members and you want to prevent them finding your altars and whatnot, right? I would simply say that you need to either set money aside to purchase a private room or a private apartment or a private space in any case in which you can practice freely to your heart's desire. You should. It's simply a matter of attaching priority. It's literally a matter of setting priorities. Okay, your occult work comes first. Then you need to set your occult work aside. Okay, create a private room for yourselves and simply tell your family members that that's your private room and that they're not supposed to ask you any questions relating to that, and no one is ever supposed to go in there. That's what comes to mind. But preferably, I'd say just rent a different space, even if it's a storage locker. Just rent one at a different address where you can do your rituals and whatnot. The house I live in, for example, is a 4 bedroom house. The master bedroom is my bedroom, and I have 3 bedrooms that I use as temples. My patrons take up one, and all the other spirits that I work with take up the other two. And yeah, when I have company over, I when I have company over, I lock every bedroom so that none of them, by some happenstance, out of curiosity or just nosiness, stumbles into one of these rooms. Nah, okay, these rooms are sacred, and if someone goes into these rooms, then it almost taints the entire place, or it taints the energy present within. The guys that I work with have also told me that yeah, don't let anyone come in our rooms. Okay, you're the only one around. You're the only one allowed, and I understand that more than enough. So I literally just lock these rooms. I lock these rooms when I have company, and I keep the key with me, so that I know that no one, it doesn't matter what they do, will be able to get into those rooms. Again, even if despite the fact that I didn't tell them or that I told them not to, or despite the fact that they know that it's impolite to just go rummaging around my house and to act all nosy and everything now. So yeah, that's my advice to you. Let me see. Clark Dennis is asking, what about Alexander and spirits for treasure hunts? That's an interesting topic. Yeah, that's an interesting topic, okay. But as I stated in the video, I love going treasure hunting, despite all the toll that it takes on me. Believe me, the jungle does take an incredible toll on you. I went to 2 jungles, and I already shared all of that material. Okay, I shared short stills of that, short videos on that, of on in the article, embedded in the article. And yeah, the one with the bees was funny too in hindsight. But the person I was with, a friend of mine, he knows that I'm an occultist. He's the only one locally that knows that I'm an occultist. The one that I was with, yeah, he told me that he thought his literal reaction was, I honestly thought that we were going to die. When those bees attacked us, I thought that we were going to die. That was it. We were going to die in the jungle right there and then. So yeah, it is interesting. Okay, despite all the drawbacks and the obvious dangers, because I told a couple of people here too that I went to the jungle, but I didn't tell them that I went for treasure hunting via occult means. They also told me, but that's really dangerous. I mean, you have no idea what you're coming across. For the same matter, you could have come across a heap of poisonous snakes or something similar. And I told them, nah, it's okay. There's risk associated to everything. So yeah, there's a risk associated to everything. So there's nothing I can do about that. And I love treasure hunting, but it doesn't matter. The sheer amount of resources, the money, and all the effort, and the guides that you have to hire, it's not worth it. Okay, because there is no guarantee, to put it like that. Okay, I tried twice and I was disappointed twice. Things didn't work out the way I wanted them to, or I didn't find an actual treasure that's practically applicable that I can sell for millions and whatnot. Again, the concept of it is interesting, okay, but I understand too. If I wanted to discover treasures worth millions, I would have to give Alexander potentially treasures worth millions or less, at least $500,000 or a couple of $1,000 or tens of thousands of dollars in terms of offerings. And it's just, again, it's not practically applicable to me. I'm not going to lie. It's not, it's just not practical. That's why I stopped working with Alexander. I mean, I am better off doing something else, something that doesn't take up so much resources and so much time and effort. But yeah, I love the whole treasure hunting thing. Lil Ray of Pitch Black asks, what is a top offering for Belial? A top offering for Belial would be gold. Gold would be great for Belial. I'm not kidding. Homer Simpson asks, are you going to write a book about it? Are you going to write a book? It would be awesome because you know a lot about the occult. I would definitely buy it. Yeah, a lot of people have told me that too. Okay, I've even had people from the US ask me if I would not be interested in giving. Sorry, if I would not be interested in giving lessons. Um, I might look into all of that in the future. For now, I can't tell. I might write a book. Okay, because there aren't a lot of books on the market in terms of serving as a guidebook, and I would love to write one that is really up to date. The only 2 books that there are right now are Modern Magic by Donald Craig, as far as I know, and or the best books, and Summoning Spirits by Konstantinos. The latter one I use personally as a beginner. Okay, because that book, I was just looking for a book to teach me the what, the why, the where, the how. That's all. Just someone that were to lay out everything to me in a simplified way as possible, and someone that could just explain to me how to summon spirits and this is how the spiritual realm works and all of that. And that book came the closest to, but although I do really appreciate the author's work, the book is great. Both books are good. They are outdated somewhat. Okay, I think these books were written in the 90s. So yeah, I would love to write an up-to-date version that's even better than what those 2 authors brought out. Again, no offense meant to the authors, but I'll think about it. I have no idea if I really want to write a book or anything like that. So we'll see. That's the answer to that. Karshi H, thank you very much. No problem. You're welcome. Astral Soul, I am usually against being friends with angels. I am a bit, oh crap, I'm sorry, a lot of new messages. I'm usually against being friends with angels as I am a bit against the God of the Bible. I am on the good side of things, so I want to be friends with spirits that are good. Do you think I should give working with angels a try? Based on what you said, not really. If you have no problem with angels, then yeah. But I mean, only a fool would go talk to someone that he dislikes. So if you want to work with angels, then yeah, sure, no problem. If you want to work with angels, then sure, no problem. But it's all about your motives. I'd suggest you question your motives. Just think about what it is that you want. Do you really want to work with angels? And as for your phrase, you're against the God of the Bible. You're on the good side of things, so you want to be friends with spirits that are good. So, according to your logic, the God of the Bible is bad, and so are the angels. I think you've got things wrong there. Then, okay, it is the case indeed that God sees to all the good things as well as the bad things. That's like what I've explained. God is responsible for everything. So that includes all the negative shit that you see in the world, all the pain, the suffering, the agony. God is also responsible for that. But that's normal. God is God. That's why He's God. And as for the angels, yeah, angels are also responsible for destroying things in the name of God. Okay, that's their job after all. But that doesn't make them bad. That simply makes them the good guys. In reality, the good guys actually do damage. They actually do damage in a just way. They do what is necessary for the betterment of things. So again, I don't know exactly. Your logic seems flawed. Okay, I don't know, maybe you're a Satanist or something, so that's why you have such a viewpoint. I'm not saying your viewpoint is wrong or anything. I'm just wondering why you have a viewpoint. But from a neutral perspective, it would seem that you're wrong in your logic or think process. Little ray of pitch black. I totally understand how you feel. Same. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm assuming that this is in regards to family. I can sense that. So yeah, that's it regarding my family. I don't have a problem talking about my family, but I honestly have no family to talk about, so to speak. These people are not my family. So I usually refrain from talking about stuff like this is because it can make people uncomfortable and I don't want that. For me, something like this is normal. But for people, I've had this in the past. I've spoken to other occultists, and the second day I started talking about this, they asked me if we can talk about something else. I immediately sensed how uncomfortable they were because I don't know, it falls under dirty laundry for them. And I'm not putting out my dirty laundry, like I just said. I have no dirty laundry to put out. But these are facts that I can't contradict. I'm not going to deny anything. Point in point, less if people ask me about my family, I'm not going to lie to you. I have no family. Okay. My parents, they're my biological parents, but they're not really my parents. I mean, any jackass that puts me beside them will be able to see and wonder, hey, where do you come from? People all around have asked me. People locally here have asked me, well, Morino, honestly, what they jokingly have asked me, what planet are you from? I mean, you're such a different, unique individual. You're unlike anyone I've ever met. I mean, you're so unconventional. But in any case, yeah, that is the case with my folks. So now you guys know. In any case, that's why I never talk about family, or that's why nothing, nada, zip. Okay. And the reason for why I am, so to speak, alone, why I'm single, why I don't have family members in the house, as an occultist, I prefer to be alone. Occultists in general have this trait. Divinity, so to speak, lies in solitude. It does not lie in the crowd. Okay. If all you do is get involved with superficial egghead types, then you won't get further than them. But I actually aspire to being as close to God as possible, and I've already done that up to a certain extent, a satisfactory extent. So, and therefore, I've accomplished it. The only way I could accomplish it is by being alone. I'm not saying that I don't go out with friends or stuff like that. I do these things, but these things are mundane things. They have no real meaning to me. Personally speaking, I don't. I've already stated that in the past. I don't intend on getting married. The furthest a woman will get to me relationship-wise is sleeping over a couple of days or something. But I do. not want to live together even. So no, bluntly put, I'm gonna die alone, and I honestly don't mind. I prefer it that way. There is no. It all depends per individual, but for me as an occultist, there is no joy or fulfillment in a family. There is no joy and fulfillment in having a wife and children. No. Okay, if you're someone that loves the family life, then knock yourself out. The benefits outweigh the drawbacks. But for me, it's the opposite. I'm not gonna throw my life away and all of that effort and all of that. Okay, all of just sacrifice so much of my life, at least half of my life, just to take care of family when I don't really care about a family to begin with, about having a family or starting a family. No, 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 no. Oh, let's see. Goddess of Earth, I do live alone, but my family are Christians. I do not hide my occultism, but it does create a problem. I'm assuming that you're. I'm assuming that your. I'm assuming that your family are these almost like Presbyterian Christians, or they're these old school Christians, right? Traditionalist kind of Christians that condemn anything that isn't divine or isn't in the good book according to them. Yeah, I know those types. Yeah, that does create a problem. I understand completely what you mean. Uh, well, I mean, I'm assuming that when you say it creates a problem, if you would like, please clarify for me. Um, it creates a problem for you, but in what way? I'm assuming engaging with them creates a problem when they see you and you're wearing some kind of paganish pentacle or a paganish necklace. I'm assuming that they disapprove of that, right? Please elaborate for me, if you will, on exactly. Just give me a couple examples on how you can get involved with, or how your family being Christian and you not hiding you being an occultist creates problems if you live alone. Because I was under the impression that you live together, right? That you live under one roof. Son of Lilith asks, sorry. Son of Lilith asks opinion about Lilith. My opinion on Lilith, I have an article on Lilith with the video. So, Son of Lilith, knock yourself out. Hold on for a second. I'm going to send you the article in a bit, or the link to the article. It's called My One Night Stand with Lilith. Some people might think that that's clickbait, but that's not, okay? I just wanted a header that was unconventional and that sticks out. Oops. Okay. Corsiate says, I feel you being smart in a country filled with idiots is such a torture. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now you know what I feel. And that's also why I don't socialize a lot. It's all about quality for me, not quantity. There is no limit to how many examples I can give. I've had people here try to be racist against me because they think I'm white. I told one of my white friends, my Caucasian friends in Europe, and he just couldn't believe it. He told me, seriously, are they that stupid? You haven't met the vermin here, obviously. That's why I also do not call them people, because these are not people, they're vermin. In any case, moving along. Erica Pedro, do you have any tips for overcoming fear of making spirit contact for the first time? I know that's basic compared to some of these questions, but how do you overcome that initial trepidation? Erica Pedro, it honestly, you just need to feel the fear and do it anyway. It's like diving for the first time, diving underwater. You just need to do it. You just need to go for it. End of story. Okay, it's same as driving a car for the first time. You can be afraid, but being afraid isn't going to help. Okay, it'll just leave you there, paralyzed in non-action, not taking any action. The simplest way to overcoming your fear is to just do it and to not think. After you've already thought everything through, then just actually do and try to cancel out your brain. Try to cancel out the part of you that says, I'm afraid. Goddess of Earth, I'm a black female and I have worked mostly with demons slash celestials. Why are some black occultists mad about white people working in voodoo? I'm new to the occult and I'm not initiated, I'm assuming. or into voodoo. I'm not interred in voodoo. Yeah, again, you'll always have shallow and short-sighted and narrow-minded people, okay? Thank goodness spirits aren't that stupid. Okay, spirits know that one's ethnic background means just as much as materialism. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, Asian, Indian, it does not matter. You can work pretty much with whatever spirit you like. And for me, I honestly could not care less whether white people want to practice any magical system. It doesn't matter where it's from. By that same logic, I mean, someone like you, a white person, could also become angry or get upset with you because ceremonial magic is basically the white man's magic. Again, only people that are really narrow-minded and superficial will make such stupid statements. But these statements aren't worth anything. So yeah, that's nothing. You need to worry about. And last but not least, Astral Soul 119. Yes, I call myself a Satanist. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, if I'm assuming if you stick to your logic, right, then I would advise you to work with demons. If you're a Satanist, I would advise you to work with infernal spirits. But because if you view angels and you view God as the enemy, then that can cause problems and will most likely cause problems. That can and will cause problems for you in terms of working with actual angels. But there are plenty of demons you can choose from or infernal spirits you can choose from. So I don't see a problem. Just go ahead. And that was the last statement. Wasn't a question. It's the last statement or the last comment, the last chat comment. Again, I'm still here, so feel free to message me or to ask me any other questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. I do need to go to the bathroom briefly, but I'll be back in literally a couple of minutes. So again, just shoot if you have any other questions or anything else to say. Okay, and I'm back. Let's see. No other questions. Okay. Hmm. Again, I'm still here if anyone wants to ask any other questions. Anything whatsoever. Like I said, I don't know if I'll ever be live streaming again, but it's definitely something to consider. We'll see. Let me see. Okay, since it's a bit quiet now, I'll just go over to general discussions. This might surprise people, but one of the, in terms of the most views that I get on my website, for example, aside from the US is the abundant winner, okay? I get a lot of people from Brazil too. I'm talking about a ridiculous amount of Brazilians or people from Brazil. If I just check out my analytics for the last year, I have over 2,400 people from Brazil. The US is over 16,000, and the UK comes in third, and Canada in fourth, and South Africa in fifth. That was last year, so 2018. And now up to this point, 2019, it's Brazil again with 1,357 views to date. The UK and Australia are trailing, and South Africa is in fifth again. And the US obviously is almost always the winner with over 11,000 views on my website up to this date or to this date. In terms of in terms of my YouTube channel, I haven't really checked out to see exactly where people that view my YouTube channel, where they come from in terms of location and whatnot. But I am getting a lot, okay? I am getting a lot of interest. Let's see. This is just to go over some normal, just to go over some neutral things. Hold up. If I check out most viewed items on my YouTube channel, C3's video, working with C3, is the most viewed video. They're all competing with each other. So yeah, it's for now at least C3 is top ranked. It used to be Clonet in the beginning, but now it's C3. Secondly, you have Zipar. Thirdly, you have Lucifer. Fourth, you have the sixth and seventh book of Moses. That one is a trailblazer. I'm not kidding. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. The sixth and seventh book of Moses. That's a video in which I discuss the grimoire, the sixth and seventh book of Moses, and It's not even old. I published it last year, July the 19th, 2018. And it already has 5,000 views. Lucifer was always strong, okay, with 5,200 views to date. Lucifer also has the most views, the most likes, 144 likes versus 6 dislikes. Zipar is up top with 5,570 views, 59 likes, 16 dislikes, and C3 has 90 likes against 5 dislikes. Let's see, Boone is in 5th place, 74 likes, 10 dislikes, and 5,000 views. Clonek, working with Clonek. Clonek has 66 likes and 10 dislikes and 4,400 views. Belial follows with 3,100 views, over 3,100 views. 80 likes, 5 dislikes. Paimon is also a trailblazer. Okay, Paimon has 3,000 views, and I released Paimon in May 22nd last year. 51 views, and 51 likes and 4 dislikes. And for the rest, it's working with Fasago with over 1,700 views, 47 likes versus 3 dislikes. Okay, yeah, and something else that I also stated for anyone that's still listening. Like I mentioned, okay, what sorcerers back then used to do when it comes to grimoires, they used to insert deliberately wrongful information in grimoires. And that's how you have, for example, a book like the Kuwaitja, where spirits have attributes that they're not even vaguely familiar with. For example, that they can see the past, present, and the future. They can do this, they can do that. They can transport someone from here to there. They can teach you how to do this and so on. Oh, you need to take that with a grain of salt. All of that needs to be confirmed. Otherwise, otherwise nothing else really is going to come of it. So that's pretty much something to keep in mind. That's pretty much something to keep in mind, okay? Don't just take a grimoire at face value. Don't take a grimoire at face value. Just do what you need to do and get to the bottom of it before you work with the spirit. Don't automatically assume that just because a grimoire says that a spirit specializes in money, that is indeed the case. Okay? Always analyze and reflect, and let your own knowledge and experience speak for itself. Oh, okay. It's quiet now. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done with the stream. I don't see anybody else posting any other questions. If so, then please do so immediately. I'll give you 10 seconds if you still have a question. If not, then I'm closing off the live stream. And I want to thank everyone that has contributed to the positive vibe overall. And anyone that just had anything to say. No one has misbehaved. No one has said anything negative. People always reacted normally, and I appreciate that because that's not too common in the occult world. You have a lot of trolls and a lot of imbeciles out there and a lot of occult nut jobs and circus freaks and whatnot. Thank goodness I didn't come across any circus freak today. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to end this live stream. Thanks again for all of you. Bye.